Hey guys, here I am working on my jelly plate. This is a design that I created a little while ago, and you've probably seen a bunch of YouTube shorts about it in its various stages. And I wanted to create a video that would take you through the entire process, just so you can see it end to end in how I'm developing this particular piece. Now, I'm no expert jelly printer, and you can see I'm quite sensitive with the amount of colour that I'm putting onto this jelly pad. In fact, this is the first time that I'm trying this particular type of print, so let's see how it goes. I'm starting to brayer up using a really beautiful green by Reeves, and the acrylic is going on lovely. In fact, it's going on a little too well that I'm almost brayering the colour off again. So that's kind of my first note to self, and my first tip, I guess, for you is to really think about how you're going to lay down your initial colour. The idea with this particular print is that we're working back to front. So this is the first colour, the top layer you will see at the end of your print. And so it has to be full enough in saturation that it creates the texture that the flowers are going to expose within it. There's my cat. She was particularly interested in this. But the layer also needs to be light enough that it's going to allow some of the other colours to play through. And if you're thinking about cardstock as well, which is absolutely something you should think about, that's going to be your kind of base layer, if you like. Then you want to make sure the first layer that you brayer on isn't too heavy. I'm using a couple of flower heads here. These were growing wild in my garden. No idea what they are, but they seem like they had quite a flat bud in the middle. So that really gave me an opportunity to get a good pull of paint back from the jelly pad onto those flower heads, therefore leaving those kind of exposed gaps which would show through any other colours that I put onto the jelly plate or the cardstock itself. As I say, my cat Dot is particularly interested in this. She sat really quietly and lovely throughout the entire process, really curious as to what I was doing, and enjoying, I think, just a moment with Mum. What I liked about creating with flowers here is very quickly and very easily I was visually able to capture those flower heads, the delicate nature of all of the petals, but also the centre of those flower buds, which would work really well at the end of the print. So I'm just covering the full jelly pad, trying to get as much flower print on there as possible before I then work into another colour. Now I allow this to dry for quite some time, so that really helps before you layer that next colour, which we're going in here with some yellow, to have something to hold on to. So do make sure that you have plenty of drying time in between each of the layers. I think I left probably around 15 minutes for that first layer to dry. Just kept tentatively checking. So there's probably, if you look very closely, a couple of fingerprints. I'm layering up the second colour now. I'm using a bright yellow acrylic, and I'm just picking out those central flower buds and working very carefully to just put enough paint on so that it shows through in the final print, but not too much, because I really want a contrast between the green and the cardstock at the back. Once I've let that dry, I then go in with my final layer, which is white. I'm very careful not to overuse the white, so I want to put on just enough, but not too much, that I don't cover every square inch of that jelly pad. Instead, I'm going to have some space for the cardstock to show through. Probably could have braided on a little bit less of the white, to be honest, to allow that cardstock to come through, because as you'll see in a few moments, what I'm actually doing is working with a grade almost very light silver colour cardstock. So just place that down. The last colour needs to be wet, and this is what's going to fuse essentially those first layers of green and yellow onto the paint, and the paint then fuses onto the cardstock. I'm really convinced at this point that I'm not going to get a great pull from this jelly plate. Not because of the jelly plate or anything that I did in the process, but because this is my first time with this technique and I really want it to work. I decided to flip it upside down so that I can see what that print might look like, and I'm pleasantly surprised. This is much more effective than I thought I might get, if I'm honest, with that very first look and go at this style of printing. So I'm just deciding how long should I wait. I've waited about 25 minutes in the end, and here I am just lightly pulling away the jelly pad. I decided to go this route because I felt that would be the best, and it worked really well. Just have a slight area around the edge with some excess print, but you can see gave me a really nice print. So all I've done to finish that is go over it with some matte acrylic gel, and that worked to seal in that final look. And that's it. Really quick and simple, easy project for you to have a go at home. I'd love you to join me for our next process. I'll see you soon. Bye.